panelist for tonight, Mr. Nabil Rizkallah. Nabil, a very good friend of mine, but he's not here tonight because of our friendship. He is here tonight first for his national determination, and then to share with us maybe the youngest experience on this panel of how he made it outside Lebanon's boundaries. Nabil Rizkallah is CEO of GWR Consulting. GWR Consulting is in the food hygiene consulting industry. They develop, Nabil will tell us about it later. This is his official title, but also I would like to introduce him as advisor at the Ministry of Labor. Since 2 years, he dedicated his life to serve his country in any way he can. He is also on the National COVID-19 Committee member, and he is one, if not the only one, fighter for the private sector, fighting for us to open as much as possible and to for our ministries or government to take reasonable decisions that will not kill the private sector. Nabil is also today on the board of the vaccination committee. He has earned all these places because of his smart approach, because of his balanced visibility. He understands the private sector, being a business owner himself, and he understands the necessity for the medical situation. Thank you, Nabil, for this hidden face that is not known by the general public. I know it because I lived it with you along the way. We are proud of what you do. Tell us, how did GWR went outside of Lebanon? And I'm very much interested to know why the hell did you go to Lisbon?
Thank you, Ricardo. And it was, by the way, very inspirational to hear the ladies. I think we should start to do a men's club to increase them in business. They are decision makers everywhere. It's a threat. I know from my wife. I tell her, if one day all the women realize how strong and capable they are, we will be kicked out of the market, all the men that are available. They're stronger, smarter, more determined, fearless. Regarding the story of GWR, it started in 2005. Like all entrepreneurs, I saw a market gap. Before starting GWR, I was working in catering with my brother. And I discovered quality control systems and tools by simply reading one book. And I thought if I had known this 5 years ago, I would have done things very differently in my company. So I resigned and started looking how to open that business on my own. That was 2005. I went and started a joint venture with a Belgian company to get the experience and learn. And then I got some education in the UK for that. And then I came back. That made me quickly realize I am in one service in one sector, meaning I'm doing quality control, at the time food safety, in only hospitality. And that's in 2005, around the killing of Prime Minister Hariri. So if you remember the times, it was a lot of turmoil. The country was going down. And then I increased the number of services I'm going to provide so that I have a more diversified giving, so that not one service can affect the revenue of the company. After that, we were still in hospitality. 2 years later, I decided to go outside my comfort zone and start giving quality control services to retail. In a very weird anecdotal story, I got a phone call on the 01, a day in the afternoon. I did not want to go back to the office, which was the basement of my house. So I was leaving, I got a call. I went back in because Mr. Bistani once told me a story that he wanted not to receive somebody on a Saturday, and he did, and that brought them a good number of students that we will not go into now. So I made a point from that lesson that I always go and listen to clients. I answered the phone. It was Häagen-Dazs International. looking for a company to do quality control on a regional level. And they called me, a small company in Beirut. So definitely I said yes. I flew to Greece, met with them, told them I can do everything they want, which was not true. I learned very quickly what I have to do. And we kept the contract for 12 years as the best company to serve them. And we quickly had to reach them in all the North Africa and the GCC. What was the added value we had? It's something that the Lebanese have, and I think we are not scared to work abroad, one. Two, our innate ability to speak, or culturally ability to speak in 3 languages gave us the edge to speak French in North Africa, English in the GCC. Our staff communicated Arabic also when the actual person there could not speak English or French. And therefore, we presented a unique model. Our competitors in that case were Europeans that could only speak 1 or 2 languages maximum. And they had a culture clash and a cost clash. They were expensive for the market. The second thing I realized is that because when you work in Lebanon in the service industry, Lebanese are very demanding, and you work at a speed that other countries that have a relaxed market, a bigger market, the competitors don't have to innovate at the same pace. So when you get out of Lebanon as a service company and are compared to the competitors in advanced economies, you would quickly notice that you have another level of innovation. You have a higher technical ability. However, it means we also needed to learn how to discipline ourselves and focus down on quality. And as this is a panel about export, the only thing that made us able to work abroad at any level of expertise was a decision we made in the company that quality comes first, irrelevant of if we lose money per contract. So if we first hit contracts, and I will give some examples here, like Cynthia did, that made us learn immediately how to deal with foreign cultures and that are black and white, and they demand quality in their RFQs, that if you do not deliver, they will catch you immediately. And you learn how to develop the culture of the company so that you can deliver such a quality, because these are at grassroots levels and go up. And things like, for example, we moved from hospitality to retail and then to automotive, pharma, real estate. And we became the quality control representative, or we controlled, for example, Mercedes-Benz from Kazakhstan to Turkey. All their distributors, we did the quality control on them through mystery shopping. We did Audi, AVME, we did Porsche, we did Dior, Bulgari, and down to Zara. And the biggest thing we ever did was we went and knocked on the door of Inditex, which is Zara, the largest manufacturing and distributor of clothes there. And we said, hello, we want to do mystery shopping for you. They welcomed us. We did a presentation. They said, this is the first time we see such an elaborate service that can help us. They presented problems that, every company has, and we knew it from our culture. We provided solutions, and we were hired by Inditex in Spain. So at the same time, I was looking to have a foothold in Europe. The least expensive country was Portugal, Ricardo. And that had a plan to also provide us, if we invest there, with a potential passport eventually. So these 2 projects came together, one in Spain and one just next door, that has the potential of the logic would have been to open in Spain. But because the other side had a potential of getting us a passport, I invested there. So in 2010, I went and opened in Dubai. At the end of 2010, I opened my first office. What I say about opening abroad to whoever is listening to us, it has to be when it's your first time and when you are a services or manufacturing. It has to have a no exit plan, suicidal jump forward. Obviously, you do your homework, but if you go there 1 foot in, 1 foot out, the first couple of years are for sure going to kick you out of the country. You will not succeed. It has to be all in. you have to sleep on the floor if need be. You have to beg. You have to do whatever is necessary, because opening abroad is a nightmare until you learn the ropes, and you learn the local culture, and you learn how things are done, and you build a team from scratch. Now, at the time, technology wasn't easy now, but this has become easier now. But at the time, more travel were included, getting culture included, and in my case, I didn't have the financial stability or the ability. So it was all DIY and funding from the actual contracts we were signing, and I still do that to today. So I have now an office in Egypt. We have an office in Dubai. We have an office in Portugal. It was always that we funded from the operation that we move forward. I think what made us get to where we are is a very simple aspects. One, from day one of I actually chose the logo of the company, I had decided it will be the #1 regional quality control company. That was I've written it on a piece of paper and I have it on my desk. And every day in the morning I look at it. That's #1. #2, I am, and the culture of the company is non-compromising on quality. It doesn't matter what we need to do, we get the quality implemented. #3, very early on, we adopted technology, and we are now at a point where the company is around 50% technology oriented. We did a technical transformation very early on. So the deliverables we do for the clients are many times more advanced than any competitor up to the US. Third, what made us also go abroad and have to service 26 companies, the 26 countries that we now do now, we service from Malaysia, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, up to the London. We do the services from those 3 offices, 4 now. Is the concept that we are not alone. When you have we are in a globalized economy pre-COVID, either you go after the competitor or the competitor will come after you. There is no choice of sitting and being in one area alone. It doesn't happen that way. Particularly when we are dealing with brands and the way we work, who do we sell to? We sell to multinational brands that are multi-territorial. Therefore, they hire us to do quality controls. So for example, any chain of restaurants in Lebanon hires us to control their outlets in any of the places they have expanded, all of them. Same with those international brands. But I am not alone in the market. You have the Americans that are available. You have Europeans that are available. You have monsters in size that are available, like SGS. They are everywhere. They have offices everywhere. But so therefore, we had to have a very big footprint of operational service on the ground from the get-go, and learn as we go along. And the anecdote that they say about entrepreneurs that starting a company is like jumping from a plane and learning how to build a parachute on the way down, is exactly how every time we opened an office or expanded to a market, it was for us. We had to jump out of the airplane and figure out everything down before we hit the ground. So that's for us. Regarding Lebanon, in the COVID part and the crash, I am Lebanese. I live in Lebanon. I had the chance to live in Bath when Sabis took me there, and they educated me and they gave me a paradigm shift that for me, I disregard what I did in university, and I am at a level where Sabis has built into me, and that's why my kids are in Sabis now. But it made me also understand that there is nowhere like home. You have to be home. And when things were crashing around and people were confused, I felt I had a role of trying to get people together, to rally together, to find a solution out of it, out of the economic crash. That's before COVID. That's where we worked together, Ricardo. And then from there on, as I had the opportunity of putting the voice of the private sector or the entrepreneurs on the tables that take decisions that affect everybody, so that we stabilize a little bit the balance between medical decisions and business decisions, I felt that there's no way but to be there. I could not say no or walk away when I wanted to, which I still want to on a daily basis because now I have to put more effort on my business. Same thing for the vaccine, as I have a management background and experience in logistics and all of these things that we are talking about now. The vaccine, in a way, approached us that we need a method to distribute the vaccines and get to reach the people, not medically based. We have that. We need another approach, a scientific business approach to it, a logistical approach, which was what we had advised them back in December, that this is not a medical operation, this is a logistical operation and a nightmare for at that. So that's how we got invited to do that new committee, so that it has a headache of getting those very little vaccines distributed to the highest risk early, and then get people to continuously be interested in that to move on. So without boring you with that part, for me it was like, again, something positive in the sense that the private sector is being asked to give a hand in the logistics. And what I also bring in at a very frequent clashing frequency is governance. Believe it or not, where I am, governance is not big on the to-do list. So I help with that as well.